Boxing veteran Gabe Rosado and Bill Haney, Devin Haney's father and trainer, got into a heated debate on a podcast this week over Devin's upcoming fight on Ryan Garcia's Undercard. The controversy comes from the fact that Devin, despite previously suing Garcia for battery after their April fight, is now fighting on a card that Garcia is headlining. Rosado questioned the decision, arguing that it was a mistake for Devin to take on Jose Ramirez in a tune-up fight before the much-anticipated rematch with Garcia. According to Rosado, Ramirez is a dangerous opponent, and taking this fight is a huge risk for Devin. At 32 years old, Ramirez is still in top form and could very well hand Devin his first professional loss, which would completely derail his future plans. Rosado didn't hold back his criticism, calling out Bill Haney and accusing him of being overly influenced by money. He argued that it weakens Devin's position to be fighting as an undercard attraction rather than headlining his own event. For a fighter who has been a world champion and has built a strong reputation, Rosado believes it's a step backward for Devin to be playing second fiddle to Garcia. However, Bill Haney defended their decision, saying that it was a necessary move to secure the lucrative rematch with Garcia in October. The plan, according to Haney's team, is for Devin to defeat Ramirez and set up an even bigger fight with Garcia, which could be one of the most financially rewarding bouts of his career. The only problem is that everything hinges on Devin winning on May 2. Adding more pressure to the situation is the fact that Ryan Garcia is also facing a tough challenge that night against Rolando Raleigh Romero. While Garcia is widely expected to win, Rosado pointed out that Raleigh has serious knockout power and could pose a real threat. With Garcia coming off a one-year layoff, his timing and conditioning may not be at their best, making him more vulnerable than usual. If either Garcia or Haney loses their respective fights, the entire plan for their rematch could fall apart. That means both fighters are not only fighting for victory, but also for the massive payday that comes with their next potential matchup. Rosado made his feelings very clear when he addressed Bill Haney directly, stating, "Why all BA are fighting on Ryan Garcia's undercard?" His blunt statement emphasized what he sees as a major step down for Devin, who was once considered one of boxing's brightest young stars. Now, instead of being the main event, he's positioned as an undercard fighter, which Rosado believes is an embarrassment for someone of Devin's status. The heated exchange between Rosado and Haney only adds more drama to an already tense situation. It raises questions about Devin Haney's career trajectory, whether this was the right move, and what it means for his legacy if he loses to Ramirez. The boxing world will be watching closely on May 2 to see if Devin can prove his critics wrong or if Rosado's warning will come true. Rosado's comments also highlight a larger issue in boxing fighters compromising their pride and status for financial gain. Many fans and analysts have criticized the current state of the sport, where high-profile fighters sometimes make business-driven decisions rather than taking the best competitive matchups. While Devin Haney's move to fight on Garcia's undercard may seem strategic, it also raises concerns about how much control he truly has over his career. If financial incentives are dictating his path rather than pure sporting ambition, it could hurt his long-term reputation. Rosado clearly believes that Devin, once considered one of boxing's top young stars, is now being reduced to a supporting act for a fighter he once dominated in the ring. At the same time, Bill Haney remains firm in his stance that this is simply a stepping stone for a much bigger opportunity. He argues that fighting Ramirez is a necessary risk to keep Devin active and sharp ahead of the Garcia rematch. From a business perspective, the fight does make sense. Devin stays in the spotlight, earns a solid payday, and potentially sets up a massive event in October. However, the risk cannot be ignored. If Haney underestimates Ramirez and loses, he not only loses his undefeated record, but also the bargaining power for future megafights. Ramirez is a former champion and a dangerous opponent, making this fight much more than just a simple tune-up. Another key aspect to consider is Ryan Garcia's own path. If Garcia loses to Raleigh Romero on the same night, the rematch with Haney could lose all of its appeal. Fans want to see a fight between two top-tier, victorious fighters, not one coming off a loss. That means the stakes are extremely high for both Haney and Garcia on May 2. This dynamic puts even more pressure on Devin, as he's not only fighting for his career momentum, but also hoping that Garcia wins his fight to keep their rematch viable. If things don't go as planned for either fighter, boxing politics could shift dramatically, leaving Haney in a tough position moving forward. Ultimately, Rosado's words, though harsh, bring up valid concerns about how Devin Haney's career is being managed. Should he be headlining his own events instead of fighting beneath Garcia? Is he taking an unnecessary risk by facing Ramirez instead of waiting for a guaranteed mega fight? And most importantly, is his decision driven by business interests rather than sporting ambition? These are all questions that will be answered on May 2 and when Haney steps into the ring. If he wins convincingly, his critics, including Rosado, may have to eat their words. But if he loses, it could be the biggest setback of his career, proving that Rosado's warning wasn't just trash talk, but a prediction of what's to come.